Chapter 22. Look what the cat dragged in. The school festival burst to life, the campus humming with excitement. The scent of grilled yakisoba, sweet cotton candy, and freshly baked tokiyaki blended into the warm September air. Colorful banners and paper lanterns hung overhead, fluttering in the afternoon breeze, while students in matching festival shirts rushed around, shouting last-minute instructions and greeting incoming guests in bright, eager smiles. Classrooms were filled with guests and students visiting the cafe, activities, and games. In the authorization, a crowd sat in front of a stage. A student band performing at the audience erupted into applause. Laughter and conversation filled every corner, blending into the atmosphere of the festival. A pair of kids ran past, their hands filled with candy apples and their faces painted with bright, colorful designs. Streamers trailed behind them as they darted between groups of students, dodging a teacher trying and failing to keep things orderly. Meanwhile, Midoriya and a few other teachers were backstage in the green room, waiting for a talent show to commence. He was already dressed in his prince costume. The white fabric of his jacket was crisp and fitted perfectly in his lean frame, adorned with the iridescent dark green embroidery that twirled like vines along the sleeves and hem. He adjusted the cuff of his sleeve nervously, his cheeks already dusted pink. "I feel kind of ridiculous," he muttered, avoiding the amused looks of his fellow teachers. "I think it looks wonderful," one teacher complimented, her cheeks flushed. "Looking good, Midoriya," another prince teacher teased. "Where is Yin?" Aizawa asked as he entered the green room, holding a clipboard in one hand and a pencil in the other. Midoriya pointed over his shoulder, the room all facing her. "She's sulking." Yin was dressed in a gown with layers of soft, flowing fabric in shades of emerald and dark forest green. The fitted bodice hugged her waist, adorned with intricate golden embroidery. The neckline dipped carefully, just enough to show off her collarbone without being, too revealing, and thin of off-the-shoulder straps rested against her skin like waists of ivory. The dress embroidered out of the waist in waves. The sheer outer layers accompanied rivaling hints of satin underneath as she walked. Her hair was styled with elegant ease. Her makeup was just as flawless. On her feet were sleek gold high heels, barely visible beneath the flowing hem of her gown. When she first entered the room, seeing Izuku dressed in his outfit for the first time, her knees gave out. She had to grab a wall to keep her from falling. "Yin, are you okay? What's wrong?" "Nothing, Lady Halo. The wall just feels really cool to touch right now." And when Yin walked into the green room, Izuku, in the middle of sipping his water, choked on it, his colleagues having to rush to aid him. Are you right, Midoriya? Is the water bad?" Nothing, just went down the wrong pipe." Now she was in the corner, pouting. "And why is she sulking?" Aizawa asked. She hates the idea of being in front of a crowd." Izuku chuckled nervously. "Really? I never even guessed. I hate when people stare." Yin hissed from the corner, her elbows sitting on her knees as she leaned over angrily. A terrifying aura radiated off of her that made everyone tense up. They can't mind their business? What the hell is there to look at, huh? "Maybe you dressed in a princess costume?" one teacher said sadistically, only to get a sharp stare from Yin. Meanwhile, Koda turned the corner of a hallway, a woman and a man stopping him as they reached out. "Excuse me, can you tell me where Mr. Midoriya and Mrs. Midoriya are?" the woman asked, her silky black hair waving with her as she tilted her head kindly. In awe of her looks, Koda asked her to repeat the question. Sorry, who are you looking for?" "Mr. and Mrs. Midoriya, the married couple." I'm sorry," he apologized. "Mr. Deku isn't married to anyone." The beautiful woman's eyebrows rose. "Oh." Koda observed the woman for a second longer, then the man, and he had realized how strikingly similar they looked to his best friend. "Oh, you're Atara's parents," he gasped. Renya smiled. "Yes, we are. We were here to surprise him." "Where is he?" Azuru asked, looking up and down the hall to search for his son. "He's working his shift at the haunted house in room 1A. He should be done in about 10 minutes. "I see. And what about Midoriya? Do you know where he may be?" "Miss Yin and him are participating in the fantasy fashion show right now. That should also be over in a few minutes." Renya nodded. "Thank you." And the couple walked away, turning the corner to roam the festival. Koda scratched his chin, confused. Why did they think Midoriya was married? Wait a minute. Is it true that Mr. Deku and you and Miss Yin are married? Wow, how nice of you. Atsura patted him on the shoulder. Well, her room is upstairs. You can lay her down and I'll take it from here. Izuku gave a nod and then smiled to Koda, before finishing to the second floor. Koda glared at Atsura suspiciously. You can't be serious. What? Fine, I'll play pretend. Something tells me this might be bad. Koda sprinted down the hall back to his classroom. Next on stage, we have Miss Yin. The crowd let out short gasps as a woman walked across the stage, holding onto Izuku's arm. Wow, she's beautiful. Look at Mr. Deku. He looks so handsome, and they're matching. I'm jealous. She's a teacher. Maybe you'll transfer here. Izuku glanced down at her, Yin coiling at the audience. Her face was screaming, Quit staring, quit staring, quit staring, quit staring. A sweat drop rolled down the side of his face. She really does hate it. They stood there in the center of the stage, the bright light, the spotlights shining on them. The screen behind them showcased a royal-themed graphic. A headshot of Princess Yin appeared with fun facts about her. Yin Lin is a substitute teacher here at UA, teaching self-defense and other ethics and law classes. She works for the Japanese police department. Her weakness is sweets, and she enjoys beating up her students. I did not say that in my form, she shouted in irons. President Mike, who was standing at the edge of the stage as he introduced the talent. President Mike continued to look off into the audience with a big smile. We added that in ourselves. Izuku suddenly had his arms hooked under her armpit, preventing her from attacking him. Her legs kicked unconditionally in the air, toes barely brushing the floor as she squirmed under his hold. Yin's talent, President Mike continued, a stage helper running out to the stage with a pile of planks, is that she can break 15 wood planks at once. Wow, right. No human can do that without using a quirk. You think she's going to be able to do it? The helper placed the planks at her feet. Izuku stepped back, Yin taking a breath. She lifted her fist and smashed it down, splitting all of them at once. She actually broke them all? The audience gasped. Yin cracked her knuckles proudly. I should have done 25. That'd have been a lot easier than I remember. That was easy! Give a round of applause for Princess Yin, Mike shouted, the crowd erupting into chaos. And with that, soon enough did the talent show end. Yin ended up losing because her mean scowl to the audience. But they returned into the break room after the show, everyone sighing with relief. It was a success. I'm going back to check on my homeroom, Izuku told Yen, who was sitting at a vanity fixing her hair. I want to make sure the haunted house is still running smoothly. Yeah, sure, okay, she muttered, glancing at him in the mirror. Thanks for being my prince. I appreciate it. Of course. And you did amazing, even if you didn't win. You did in my mind. She turned to him, her stomach filling with butterflies. He gave her a warm smile, making Yin's lips twitch into one of her own. Before they knew it, they were speaking at the same time. I want to talk to you about something. Actually, can we talk? Oh, they gasped once, then into confusion, laughter. How about I come by your classroom after I change out of this? Yin asked, motioning to her outfit. Sure, Izuku nodded, his cheeks turning red. He pivoted his feet, waving goodbye to her as he left the green room. About 15 minutes later, Yin still messing with her hair in the mirror, the door to the room swung open. She whipped over her shoulder to see Atara grabbing the doorway, panting for air. He sprinted all the way from his classroom, still dressed in his vampire costume. Yin! Atara, what are you? My parents, they're here!